Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Music Mondays podcast. You guys know the drill, but if you don't and you're new here, welcome. This is episode 98 of the Music Mondays podcast. I'm your host, Zom Slays, founder of Music Mondays, and a whole other bunch of titles that we don't need to talk about right now. So, hope everybody's well. Happy Monday. Good show for you planned tonight. Very, very good show. I have a couple topics to talk about. We're gonna go through reactions and reviews, and we're gonna go through some updates and talk about what's good with Music Mondays and what's coming up next. So, let's hop right into updates, man. So, what happened over the last week or so? Well, first off, episode 97 of the Music Mondays podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts, including our YouTube channel, the home of the Music Mondays podcast. Huge shout out to everybody that submitted, ran it up, showed love. I appreciate it. Thank you. But yeah, if you missed it, definitely go check it out. Go show some love on the show last week. There's a new YouTube upload available on the Music Mondays channel as well. I think a couple episodes, I spoke about Twitter and the importance of other social medias and Twitter's role in being an underground creative and things like that. So definitely go check that out. That's a really, really good upload. Don't sleep on that one. A brand new article is available on allmusicmondays.com, the Music Mondays homepage. Raven, our Music Mondays staff writer, actually wrote a brand new review that you can read right now on the Music Mondays homepage. Raven reviewed a track off of Breakint's new album. Short, sweet, to the point. This was actually first. I think this was Raven's first published piece. Yeah, it was. But we've been talking details about future pieces, things like that. And our writing staff is actually starting to become relatively stacked, especially the last couple times I got the chance to sit down with the staff and have a couple meetings and things like that. The future is very promising as far as writing goes. Interviews, reviews, think pieces, things like that. So definitely go check out the Music Mondays homepage and go show some love to Raven's brand new review. SoundCloud Sunday, volume 59 is available on our SoundCloud. The premier fucking SoundCloud playlist in the underground, man. Nobody is putting together a better playlist. I think it's time we actually claim that throne, right? I mean, 60 volumes this week will be pretty fucking legendary. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, definitely go show love to SoundCloud Sunday. And if you have any friends, right? If you have any IRL friends, if you have people around you that listen to your music that need new music, or just casual listeners that are looking for new shit, show them SoundCloud Sunday, man. Especially if you're on it, go put people on, because that's probably as good as you're gonna get for a not only SoundCloud playlist but an underground playlist, truly. So definitely go show SoundCloud Sunday Volume 59 some love. That was curated by myself and Ivica Glass, our Music Mondays staff curator. And of course, per usual, if you're interested in submitting for SoundCloud Sunday, this is open every Wednesday, so keep your eyes peeled. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and all social media at All Music Mondays. So yeah, lots of good content, lots of regular scheduled drops, things like that. But let's talk about what's coming up for December, man, because holy shit. Like, when I tell you guys that I have content literally coming out of my fucking ears, it's the truth. We have a lot going on to finish off the year for Music Mondays, especially for the podcast, especially for ideas for the staff. We have a lot going on, man. So expect a lot of announcements, a lot of stuff being wrapped up. things like the foundation competition, which, by the way, we'll talk about that for a second. The foundation competition actually got less vocal submissions than we anticipated. So we're going to take the vocal submissions that we do have and select a winner. And then the winner will have their track hosted by Music Mondays. We'll show it a bunch of love, create cover art if they want to, fully promote it and things like that. So that's what's going on with the foundation project. But I have a lot of really good stuff planned. But before we get into that, our monthly releases are gonna come at you really, really fast. In case you missed it, monthly is pretty much done for November, so expect that within the next week. Dose of Daybreak by our staff DJ Michael Jones is ready to go, so expect that within the next week. Feature Friday and Workshop Wednesday are also in the works. I have Feature Friday booked with a very special guest. I won't leak that now, but Feature Friday will be happening after Christmas, so most definitely be on the lookout for that. Workshop Wednesday is already planned. I just haven't scheduled a date with our guest. Ivica is also working on the breakdown episodes 2 and 3. So, yeah. Lots of really, really good stuff coming at you really fast throughout the month. And then on top of that, the Music Mondays Awards. The Music Mondays Awards is something that I've been really, really plotting out hard. Me and the staff have started having discussions about categories, nominees, things like that. This is definitely like a sort of just a fun thing to do for the community. You could compare it to like, top 100 songs lists or some shit like that, or the underground Grammys or something. Just something fun for the community to recognize people's years and what they did throughout all of 2022, and people who submitted to the podcast, best podcast moments, things like that. So expect more information on the Music Mondays Awards ASAP Rocky. I also have our staff designer Aster coming on the show in about 2 weeks. So if you don't know, Aster is our longtime, pretty much lead designer that designed our wonderful brand new Music Mondays podcast logo. But on top of that, Aster has been killing it from all angles. But Aster actually hit me in the DM today and asked if he could come on the podcast to talk about AI generated art. To which I was like, absolutely, like what the fuck? But Aster is also located in Germany, so the time zone differences are going to be a bit weird. So if you see the Music Mondays podcast live, obviously we'll announce it and let everybody know in advance. But if you see the show live on a Monday a couple hours earlier, that'll be the reason why. So huge shout out to Aster. That's definitely something that I was really, really interested in getting on the show, because Aster is a very, very talented designer. So I'm for sure interested in hearing their takes on AI generated art, and we can have a really, really good segment about that. But yeah, that's all December, man. That is literally all December. And then 2023, we're gonna start off hot. Expect a little refresh around Music Mondays. Expect a lot of good stuff rolling into 2023, but we won't worry about that right now. We gotta bang out all this stuff for December, so definitely keep your eyes peeled. Cole, what's good, baby? Welcome on in. Hope you're well. Happy Monday. Welcome, 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 my friend. So that's it for updates. You guys know the drill. Let's have a little conversation. I had mentioned this week that I have a lot of topics to discuss. Now, I've written down a lot of fucking ideas as far as segments to talk about on Music Mondays. Lots of really kind of small stuff, lots of good talking points, but the one I want to talk about today that I think we're gonna spend a couple minutes on is people being genuine in a creative space. So, What do I mean by that? Well, there's been something I've noticed that is really always been a thing, I guess. Um, but a lot of artists and a lot of creators have this kind of problem they consistently run into, right? Where they're taking their art serious, whether it be design, production, vocals, YouTube content, streaming, whatever, right? And they're taking it serious and they're trying to make a career out of it. And they're like, okay, like I'm building a brand, whatever, whatever. And they'll sort of like run into people that don't have the same mindset. And when I say that, it's kind of like a case by case basis because everybody creates for like a different reason. But after a certain point, you either sort of know you're going to do this long term, whatever it is, or it's more of just like a hobby to you and it's something that you just like enjoy doing on the side, not like work, right? And I notice a lot of creatives that are really trying to like put in a lot of work, whether it be my own artists, my friends, the Music Monday staff, people that I've seen in the gaming and speedrunning space. It's all one and the same, I've really noticed, but people always encounter others that really like weigh them down. For instance, I know a lot of people have had a problem, you know, someone's lacking on a feature, someone doesn't get their work in on time, and people just kind of like have their priorities all fucked up. And I think that is like a real hindrance to a lot of people. And like I said, don't get me wrong, like everybody has life issues, right? Whether it be family, work, moving, fucking personal shit, you name it. I've pretty much seen it all at this point, especially in the creative space. But to really break through, right, and become what your vision is and like your sort of perfect idea of what you are as an artist, a lot of people like reach that ceiling as to where like they're like, okay, like how do I improve? Like how do I break through this? And you'll notice like there's people that just sort of aren't like that. Like they'll just kind of be, willy nilly, kind of daydreamy, just not putting in work. Yet they'll be surrounded by people that are fucking like 12 hours a day type shit. And I say this lightly because it's a real topic that is kind of a case by case basis, right? Like everybody's different. Like there are so many people that like want to create but like don't have the time, or they have kids, or their recording space isn't ideal. Like there are so many cases you could bring up with this, but at the end of the day, like you kind of got to make that decision for yourself and like get out of your own way as to where, if you know that this isn't long term for you, like just support people instead of like trying to be involved with things that are like way out of your scope. And it's like, you could apply that to anywhere. People not showing up for shows, the feature situation, um, people not showing up for events, like, and they're like, oh, my car broke down, and my this, my that, bro. Ain't nobody trying to hear that, man. Like, especially in this creative space, as to where like you truly have to be working like 24/7 and like really love it though. Like it's not like supposed to be like this monotonous robotic work. Like you genuinely should be enjoying it. Otherwise, like you got to switch something up. And when those people kind of mix with the ones that are like kind of in limbo, they don't like really know what they're gonna do with their creative career. It's like, man, like that's just not good. You know what I mean? So just kind of be aware of those people and sort of understand how to read them. And it's not like they're doing anything bad or malicious, but it's more so like that is sort of, a big catalyst to your own productivity and work ethic, right? Like if you're waiting on, you know, this, that, and the third, like that's affecting you in the long term. Like YouTube videos, for instance, like if you're waiting on an editor, like that kind of shit is just it's just unacceptable. You know what I mean? Like people should be on the same wavelength just for purely like a productivity standpoint. Like you can just get much more done if you're surrounded by people that are like-minded. And like you'll see it all the time, like even like bigger people and veterans will tell you this, that you need to be surrounded by people that truly want the same thing that you want. Otherwise, like you'll just start noticing you're not putting in your time where it should be, you know? So that's a very, very important topic. Don't let them hear you say it's work. Well, see, that's the thing though. Like a lot of people kind of get that skewed and want to hold on to like that art aspect. And like, don't get me wrong, like I'm the first person to tell you like this is art and you should be creating from the heart. But after a certain point, like you're either going to treat this like a job or you're not. And, you know, performing shows, selling merch, doing features, recording new tracks, like that is your work. You know what I mean? Like whether you want to call it work or not, like you kind of got to have that like real grind set to like really understand that like okay, like if I'm not going to treat this like work, like I'm going to have to go work somewhere else for somebody else. You know what I mean? Like you're going to go work at Walmart or McDonald's or anywhere else just as hard and it's still going to be work. But the thing is with creatives, and we sort of spoke about this a couple weeks ago, where we were talking about like, you know, comparing like regular 9 to 5 jobs to like being a full time creative. And that's the thing with that is like you do genuinely like create your own hours if you are a full time creative, right? You know, for some people it's meetings in the morning, content during the day, streaming at night, you know, whatever the case is. But like a lot of that scheduling is like based on your own schedule. Like you're creating that yourself. Like that's like the security of like the regular kind of 9 to 5 route as to where you know you're going to get 40 hours, you know when you're going to work, you know that like you're always going to have a paycheck. Whereas to where if you're trying to be a full-time creative and live off of what you do, that's sort of the aspect as to where you're going to have to hustle some nights harder. You're going to have a break, you know, more often than regular people. So like, you know, everybody quote unquote like has to work, but um it doesn't take away from art being art. You know what I mean? It's just like a different level from sort of like being like a hobbyist. Cuz like it's not like 1875 anymore where like people are like painting in a field and everything's just kind of chill. Like no, like art is very much monetized now and that's a very good opportunity for people that are extremely talented. You know, and I think everybody deserves that right to be able to um not only monetize themselves but just have that chance and ability. So like when you get around those people that sometimes don't have like the same scope as you, it's sort of like it's such a hindrance and like I hate to say it because like a lot of those people, right, like a lot of those people that are like like not as passionate as you, or maybe like you know just don't put in as much work, like they're always like the nicest fucking people, like that's the thing with that, you know what I mean? Like they're not doing anything wrong by not taking it as serious or not, you know, working as hard or grinding as hard as like anybody else, but it's like you can't work with that if you're trying to do this full time, right? So like that's a very very um important topic, and it's probably something that'll never go away, right? Like you could probably find that in any job that you work. But speaking from like a creative standpoint, that's definitely something that I do see a lot. And you know, just recognize it when you do see it and you're like, shit, like this guy's like totally like not taking this as serious as I am. So let me just fucking, you know, do this one feature or send this one beat and just be done with it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes that's what you got to do. It's a very like collaborative space, and it's very important that you surround yourself with like-minded people. So yeah, interesting topic for sure. We can always shoot more shit about that. I always love talking about shit like that because you know even myself, right? Like being full time. Um, I'd say since probably 2020, I've been not only full time streaming, but um, full time media management, full time fucking everything. To be honest with you, um, and like even myself, like I've definitely encountered that a couple times as to where it's like, all right, like this guy's definitely not like doesn't want it as bad. You know what I mean? Like there are people out here that are just working their fucking ass off. You know what I mean? And that's why that they're in the positions that they're in. And to sit there and like think that like you couldn't do that is just ludicrous. You know what I mean? So that's why you got to take that shit um serious if that's where you want to go. So, very important, my friends. Very very important. So, that was one of the many topics that I wanted to discuss on the show. Um, just because, like I said, you do see it a lot, and it's something that's very like, it's a common thing, right? It's a very common thing, and not a bad thing by any means, but definitely like there's like ways to navigate around it, I would say. But yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to comment down below what you think. Feel free to give me your thoughts. Feel free to drop any topics you want to see us talk about, things like that. But let's hop right into reviews. So, um definitely a couple things to talk about here. So, per usual, if you're interested in submitting to the Music Mondays podcast, submissions are live every Tuesday, always in the same format. Artists and creative submissions are open for live reviews on Music Mondays, live on 12/5/22 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/plays, which is here and now. If you'd like to submit your music, artwork, fashion, or digital creation, drop your links and portfolios below. All art forms are welcome. So, contrary to our name, a lot of you guys know this. We also react and review anything from digital art, paintings, edits, visuals, instrumentals, fashion, merch, anything that you feel that you're working on as an underground creative. Definitely feel free to submit it. But one other thing that a lot of people miss, and if it wasn't for Twitter's character limit, this would be in the main tweet. But the only thing that we do ask, per usual, since we do not accept any payments for playlists, articles, podcast slots, interviews, things like that, just follow the Music Money's homepage on Twitter. That'll be that's like really the only thing that'll like make you eligible. Just because we don't accept payments, things like that, because we always get those questions like every once in a while, and you know, like I was saying today, Music Mondays is here to preserve the underground, but also serve people the latest underground content. And if we were sort of taking from the underground and really like trying to gain like financial freedom from hardworking artists that barely have anything to their name trying to chase their dream, that doesn't really make us shit, to be honest with you. And like every other platform does that. Like respectfully, that's why I've never done that. Because it doesn't really do anything for the scene and it will forever like water down your platform. Because if like Joe Schmo can pay me $20 for an interview, what does that matter? You know what I mean? Like that's why like I'm 91 articles deep and I've never made a dime off of any of them. Just because of that fact. Like sure, I've gained things in other areas, right? Whether it be connections, friends, other shit, but to say that yeah, like I'm like hustling articles like fucking bags of fucking gas, bro, like no. No way, man. So no platform that I work for or have ever created will ever do that. Um, a lot of Music Mondays revenue comes from our Twitch stream, things like our Spotify podcast, partnerships, paid advertisements. If somebody wanted to come on the show and advertise something, that's fine as well. But our main content is very very exclusive, and we'll be the ones reaching out to you if we ever create content. But with that said, there's always ways to contact us via email to pitch yourself. So if you're like, yo, I got this new track out, I'm gonna go see what's up with an interview, definitely feel free to email us or pitch yourself to any of our writers as well. All of our writers are available on allmusicmondays.com. Go check out the contact page. Go hit up one of our writers if you're trying to pitch yourself. But yeah, that's that on my friends. Like, you know, like I said, the system might change, you know, depending on how quickly Music Mondays grows. But the philosophy will forever stay the same. Will forever be for the underground, and this is more of your go-to for the underground without feeling like you gotta be blocked by like a paywall. So yeah, that's why we ask that. You know what I mean? That's you know, in my opinion, the least you could do. Just follow the page, support the platform, tell your friends. You know, because not only are you supporting our platform, but you're also supporting other creators, right? Like all these people in submissions, like these are your mutuals. You know what I mean? Like these are very, very much hardworking creatives that are your peers. So this is definitely not some like shit you wouldn't want to be a part of. It's definitely important. And per usual, submissions close a couple hours before the show. So you have about 6 days or so to submit your track. Usually they'll close on a Monday, but if we get packed with submissions, very rarely you'll see them close on a Sunday. Very rarely. But yeah, that's that on that, my friends. So, of course, if you have any other questions, feel free to check out our website or send us a DM or email. So, let's hop right in. I believe we have a decent amount of submissions for you guys. So, let's break this shit down. Lots of classics, lots of first time submissions, lots of good stuff. So, first up is the homie Thomas Marcus. Thomas has been putting in work, I've been noticing. Thomas truly has been really just grinding instrumentals, and I see Thomas really putting in the work. But Thomas is also a producer that, like I always say, really treats himself like an artist and really gives himself an opportunity to really grow their brand and like just present themselves as an artist. So this week they submitted a track titled Midnight Ride. Let's pop this open a new tab and we'll check this out. So let's see here. Cover is gas per usual. I've been liking like the anime direction that Thomas has been going in. Slap the Thomas Marcus logo on there. You're good to go. Tagged lo-fi as well. Let's check this out. Thomas Marcus, Midnight Ride. I think drums really shine on this one for sure. I definitely like the drum selection. But let's break this one down. So, no vocals. We're gonna talk about two things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental and talk about the overall theme of Midnight Ride. So I'm definitely getting a big lo-fi vibe here. You definitely get the standard Thomas Marcus melodies as far as guitars go, for sure. That's one thing you can always expect with a Thomas Marcus track is um, those real just emotional guitars, truly. But underneath all that, this is really wrapped around a nice mix. That's what kind of made me notice the drums. So shining star here for me, absolutely got to be the drums. I love the selection. I love the structure and arrangement, to be honest with you. Um, this definitely takes like a more, I don't want to say like hip hop style, but it definitely has like a select few like hip hop elements for sure that really kind of give it that different crispiness. So this is perfect, and then the length is excellent as well, clocking in at 247. So not bad at all. Definitely just another a variation of a Thomas Marcus track that'll really make you relax for sure. Like you could take like 10 of these and really have a fucking vibey playlist. For sure you'll be kicking back. So this one goes right in that category for me. But like I said, Shining Star, definitely the drums. I love the arrangement. I love the sound selection. Let's talk a little bit about the theme here. Now, obviously, aesthetically, like I said, I've been liking the sort of anime direction that Thomas has been going in. But this one in particular definitely represents Midnight Ride to me, right? You see a track named Midnight Ride, you look at the cover, you're like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, pretty self explanatory there. But Midnight Ride, like the title itself, this definitely feels like one of those like lone wolf kind of tracks as to where I wouldn't say it's like a highway kind of description as to where you're just, 3 a.m. type shit and you're just cruising, but this one's a little harder to put my finger on. But I would definitely say it gives that like lone wolf like solo ride kind of deal. Much like the picture represents. Definitely. But I don't immediately get the feeling of like a true midnight ride. But I definitely get something like that for sure. But all in all, excellent. Excellent. Well done, Thomas. Thank you for the submission, homie. Much motherfucking love. And of course, make sure you follow Thomas Marcus on SoundCloud. Thomas is 8 away from 170. Go show Thomas some love, man. And of course, make sure you follow Thomas Marcus 075 on Twitter. Thomas is 7 away from 40. Another great milestone for Thomas. So, per usual, you guys know the drill. Every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. And of course, subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We are approaching 90 subscribers. We are well on our way. And huge shout out to everybody that already has subscribed to the Music Mondays YouTube channel. I see you supporting the drops and thank you. So go show this channel and go show these artists some love. Up next we got the homie Dread, but I think I want to say this is a visual. So we'll get through the audio first, and then we'll come back to visuals for sure. Oh yeah. We definitely got a visual there. Okay, yeah. All right, so we'll dip right back into audio, and then we'll do our media because I believe Offspring has a submission here as well. So after that, we have the homie Cole Gerard, who I believe is in the chat right now as well. Cole submitted track titled Tidal Wave. And Cole is just a jack of all arts, to be honest with you. Cole is a wizard with engineering, production, art, vocals. Cole is definitely an artist you totally should keep your eyes on as far as a good work ethic and somebody that really has like a very, very high ceiling for sure. But like I said, this week they submitted a track titled Tidal Wave. And Cole said in the caption, My Vox and guitar, Homie's guitar and bass, and Harmony MIDI mix and master both mini drums, treble heavy beware on top of everything else. Gonna drop some more minuscule 2023. Interesting. So let's see here. Let's check out the Spotify page. No Spotify, we don't want premium. Interesting. Okay. So what? This is like some duo shit, from what I'm understanding. Okay. Wow. All right. So this is definitely interesting. Definitely not what I was expecting at all. 2021. So, not brand new, but definitely not old whatsoever. So, Minuscule, Cold Gerard, Tidal Wave. Let's get into it. What the fuck? Wow. What the fuck? Holy shit. Guitar's crazy. That's what like, what? That was good, Jared. I hope you're well. Hope you're well, my friend. Jesus Christ. That was not only very impressive, but what the fuck? That was really not what I was expecting at all. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. Couple really good talking points here. So let's hop right into this. We're gonna talk about three things. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, all of them, and we're gonna talk about vocals, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of Tidal Wave. Wow. Okay. So where do we begin, right? So let's talk about the instrumental, like I said. Referring back to the caption, now that we've listened to it, my Vox and guitar, homie's guitar, and bass and harmony MIDI, plus mix and master. Like, holy shit. Both on MIDI drums. Treble heavy, beware. On top of everything else, gonna drop some more minuscule 2023. That's like, that is really, really fucking crazy. Me and Reese switched between rhythm and lead several times. Holy shit. Yeah, so back to the profile. Based out of Fort Collins, made by Cole and Reese. So that's like, it's actually insane. So this is like a real kind of for all our audio listeners out there, the ones that don't watch on YouTube. This kind of caught me off guard because Cole has always shown us his solo work and you know, engineering work and things like that, but this was like some shit I had no idea about. So back to the instrumental point. One thing I suppose we should just get right out the fucking way is um the mix. Obviously a Cole mix and master, but the mix is just very, 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 very fucking crisp. Nothing's clashing too overbearing. I like how the vocals sit. I really, really like every instrument really just kind of um like just in harmony. Like everything really kind of complements each other extremely well on this track. Like really, really well. But one thing I also like is the arrangement. I really, really like the arrangement on this a lot. I truly feel like that was like a big part of this, especially with like independent, like heavier music. I feel like even for new listeners, like say they don't listen to heavier shit, right? I feel like new listeners can grasp onto shit like that like much easier if they sort of have something to like understand. So if you put that like roller coaster structure where the song is just always progressing, I feel like you could get like a lot of new listeners or even just like regular metal heavy heads that really really enjoy that heavy sound. Because wow. Wow, 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 wow. So instrumental extremely extremely solid. All the instruments played were fucking nuts. I'm gonna keep referring back to the caption because there's a lot in this track that we can't sleep on at all. Donnie, what's good, my friend? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you're well. Happy Monday. Um, so yeah, instrumental is really, really fucking out of this world. Um, Probably one of the most like skill heavy things I've seen Cole do, and that isn't really a knock on anything else, other than the fact that I know that this shit was probably so difficult at some points. To get really this heavy sound to become so crisp, I really feel like this shows a lot to Cole's skill. And like I said, this was really dropped in 2021, you know what I mean? So Cole's really done nothing but progress. So the instrumental really says a lot there. Now, vocals. Vocals, vocals, vocals. Artwork is a painting Reese has. It's a wait, what? Nah, you're bugging. No, it's not. Holy shit. All right, yeah, we'll talk about theme and aesthetic in a minute because that's actually fucking crazy. That's actually crazy. Vocals, we've had some experience with Cole's heavier vocals. Reese, obviously, we've had little experience here on the show. So that was really like our first exposure to everything. But Cole, we've heard some heavier vocals from, so you could almost like see the potential there, right? And I remember vividly saying that as to where I think one week Cole submitted like a heavier track. I was like, damn, those vocals are really well done. Like, I wonder what Cole would sound like on like a complete heavy sort of like alternative metal kind of style. And here we are, like it was already available. Reese mixed and mastered all this, including my vocals. Definite inspo for trying to keep my shit clean. Damn, shout out Reese. Shout out Reese. Yeah, so with the vocals, man, well fucking done. Well fucking done. Yeah, cause everything on here is just like extremely, extremely fucking crisp. Wow, shout out to Reese, man. That's really, really fucking impressive. But like I said, I think Shining Star for me, including the instrumental and the vocals, was the structure here. I feel like the structure was so fucking well put together. Just the progression with all the instruments and the variety, just it once again really kept that roller coaster feel, but truly told a story, right? Like you're really listening to these vocals, and you're like, holy shit. So instrumental, really, really insane. Vocals, really well done. I love the structure of everything. Let's talk about the theme. Aesthetically, now a Cole mentioned artwork is a painting Reese has. It's fire from his tattoo artist. So what the fuck, especially for a track titled Tidal Wave. Even though this is the album cover, I do feel like the track Tidal Wave really is super symbolic with this. The lighthouse, the detail, the grain on it, the sort of grays, and then you have this like metal font that is very like unique in the aspect that like it's very well used, especially on a cover like this that's very like, I wouldn't call it like chaotic, it's somewhat peaceful, you know? So aesthetically I do feel like this is fucking nailing this theme. You know what I mean? Especially with the other track titles, right? Consume, Drown, Drifting. Like, come on. Definitely kept up with a really, really good sort of ocean aquatic theme there. 100%. Self-titled as well, which is really really dope. I like I like self-titled shit depending on like what it is, right? But the overall theme I feel like is really like well done. Like I said, with all the like ocean kind of like aquatic water kind of themes touched here, down to the track titles, down to the aesthetic, um, and even the vocals, like just the way the hook is like really utilized, I just am like, wow. So this was really, really fucking impressive. Really impressive. Down to the theme, you could literally break this down. Like, that's what's really, really fucking dope. Well fucking done, Cole. Well done, my friend. Very, very impressive. Huge shout out to Cole for the submission. Make sure you follow Minuscule on Spotify. Make sure you follow Cole Gerard on Twitter at Cole Gerard. Cole is 2 away from 40. Go get this. Go get Cole to 40, man. God damn it. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Make sure you're subscribed to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 90 subscribers. Huge shout out to everybody that already has subscribed to the channel. I see you running up the drops. We love you. Thank you. So, let's fucking continue on, my friends. Kojak, what's good? Welcome, welcome. I hope you're well. Happy Monday. Mark, what's good? Just got home, thank God. Let's get it. Happy Monday. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, dog. Excited to share the other tracks. Let's fucking go, Cole. I'm down. I'm definitely down. Let's get it, baby. So, um, Dread, we're gonna wrap back around to. Thomas, you're good. Cole, we're good. Seth, aka Fruity Chorus. Now, we've reacted and reviewed Seth one other time here on the show, and it was quite the pleasure. So I have no doubt in my mind that Seth really nailed this next track. Like I have really, really no doubt in my mind. So let's pop this open in a new tab, and we'll get some first impressions here. I heard what you said about self-titled, but I like to present the album titled Trauma Pill as a hardy competitor. Well, I mean, if your name is Trauma Pill, then I don't know. That that might be one I'd skip for sure. Actually, I don't know. It's not that bad. I could rock with it. I could rock with it actually. Trauma Pill wouldn't be that bad. That'd be kind of hard. It's gotta have a good cover though. Gotta have a good cover. Let's hop back into Seth. So Seth submitted a track titled Problem with Envy. Now, cover really, really goes fucking crazy here. Um, I almost want to say this is like a movie scene, no? Or yeah, it's got to be because you see the film. Yeah, what the fuck? But the filter is like, I like the filter on it a lot. No, it's dope. 5 days ago, Prod Me featuring Envy. We got lyrics and description. We definitely got to check these out. Lots of love on this track. It's a vibe, crazy, can't miss, so good. I feel like I'm floating. Holy shit, this is beautiful. Okay, lots of love on this. All right, bet 5 days ago. So brand, motherfucking new. Seth has a very like refined, very clean sort of cloud alternative style. So, like I said, I'm definitely excited to get into this. Seth Problem. That real ethereal shit. No cap, Mark. You spitting right now. You are definitely spitting, my friend. Okay. Um, I love this mix. I definitely love this mix, and I dare to say the flow is probably the like craziest part about this. The flow is such a fucking vibe. Let's break this one down. So we're gonna talk about three things. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Problem. So instrumentally, this is Prod Seth, so self-produced. I mean, you know, self-producing artists are becoming more and more popular. Not popular, I would say, but common is the right term. Um, you know, but I think it takes another kind of special artist to like really craft themselves an instrumental that they know that kind of lines up with their vision, right? And it seems that Seth really can do that. Like they can really just okay, like I cook this instrumental up, like I kind of have like a clear vision on how I want to do this. Let's see how this turns out. And wow, wow, very fucking impressive. So instrumentally, this mix is very solid. It's definitely one that's like super even and really lets like the vocals shine a lot, especially Seth and Envy. Like their vocals really are super vibrant on this, and I like that for this mix. Nothing clashing too overbearing, per usual. Solid mix. Everything we've heard from Seth has really had like a nice, finely tuned mix for sure. So I love this instrumental. Much like Mark said, very ethereal. very alternative, very like alternative cloud. Has a very like original sound, and I like it a lot. So instrumentally, this definitely checked all the boxes. Um, as far as being like very very like attractive. So let's talk about vocals here. Seth does a really good job on mixing their vocals. Like I feel like this vocal mix is really really fucking crisp. Um, and everything we've heard from Seth has just been top notch. Um, and much like I said with the instrumental, nothing clashing to overbearing. And even Envy brings sort of like a different vibe vocally. So I feel like this was a good feature on here. So clocking in at 234, the shining star for me was the flow. Uh, like reading along with these lyrics and description and really just kind of like naturally bobbing your head to the flow. It was so well done. So well done. And the hook is just really well written. I feel like it was a no-brainer to call this problem. You know what I mean? But to say that there's like such a well written theme in the lyrics, absolutely. Absolutely. But yeah, for me, Shining Star, absolutely, without a doubt, unequivocally, the flow. I love the flow. I love the cadence. I love how everything's delivered. I love how this was recorded. I feel like Steph did a really good job on this as it being a solo track, like, or a single, I should say. So when we talk about Anvi here, one thing that whether I'm making music, whether I'm collabing, or I'm just listening to music, one thing that I listen for when people collab or they have features is if they're like contributing to the track or like bringing their own style and their own kind of swag and their own like real kind of like input on what an artist already has laid out. So Seth really set the stage for Envy, and I do feel like Envy brought almost like I wouldn't say like a darker style, but like a little bit more like just like a darker undertone and like a little bit of attitude on this track, which otherwise would just be a very like um prime alternative track. So I do feel like Envy brought the smoke here. So definitely turned out to be like a very enjoyable feature, I would say. 100%. So, instrumental, very very well done. Vocals, I really just the flow, man. The flow and cadence is really fucking well done here. Let's talk about the theme. Now, aesthetically, 100% love this cover. Definitely one of those covers where you wouldn't say it like jumps out with the theme, but like one of those covers where you're like you see this, you enjoy the song, and you forever associate the song with this cover. It's just how it goes, man. It's just how it goes. So it's super, super funny. Definitely fits the cloud sort of alternative aesthetic 100% that this track really makes you feel. So the overall theme, right? Problem, like I said, kind of a no-brainer title. But to break down the lyrics, you definitely get a little bit of emotion, a little bit of um almost positivity as well. And then you kind of have all of this wrapped under a theme that everybody kind of either experiences, is experiencing, or will experience, right? Like not feeling good enough, self worth kind of things. And I do feel like Seth and Envy really were able to put this in, simple enough words, but still make it like very, very digestible for almost any audience, which I really like about this, right? Because some people, be like, oh, I don't like that shit, that sad shit or that emotional shit. Nah, like this is like presented in a way as to where it's very digestible for new listeners. Not that that really fucking matters anyway, right? Like, if you want to put out extremely sad shit, absolutely do it. But that's just one thing to take note of here. Is I do feel like this is a very like relatable way for most people to um hear this track. Like it's just like okay, like I get it. You know what I mean? So theme is definitely well crafted for sure. Huge shout out to Steph. Thank you for the submission, my friend. Make sure you follow Steph on SoundCloud. Steph is very, very close to 1.7K. And of course, make sure you follow Fruity Chorus on Twitter. They are literally 7 followers away from 340. Go show Steph some love, man. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 90 subscribers. Huge shout out to everybody that already has. I see you guys running up the drops. Go show these artists and go show the channel some love, man. Jealous of people that can self-produce, man. Literally on a whole other tier. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, you know, there's like pros and cons to it. Because it's like, it's definitely like a good skill to have. But like sometimes you'll sit down in the studio and you're like, damn, I gotta produce this shit, and you know what I mean? You're like, god damn, and mix this shit and record this shit. You're like, fuck. So sometimes that shit definitely can get like bothersome if like that's how you've always been doing it. But sometimes people don't mind. But also like collaboration is like such a great thing in music. So I do feel like everybody kind of having their select skills really gives like room to collab. You know what I mean? Because some of the like the best things I've ever learned and like experienced were through collabs. You know what I mean? You know, me not being able to do vocals and people not being able to produce, or you know? So definitely pros and cons to that. But regardless, I think people that can produce for themselves are definitely like on a whole other tier, like you said. Like they're definitely like, I wouldn't say like ahead of the game because people have been self-producing for a while, but definitely like a different lane, 100%. So up next we got the homie Heavy Metaphors, and actually, do we have a visual here? No, we got what looks to be like a visualizer. Okay. Heavy Metaphors, Rico Nasty, Missy Elliott mashup. Okay. Interesting. Um, Now Heavy Metaphors is a member of Human Resources. Now Human Resources is a collective of alternative artists that really make such experimental shit. Like truly, I've been reacting to Heavy and Human Resources for a decent amount of time. They'll always submit every once in a while. So this is gonna be interesting. So let's pop this open, new tab. Check this out. Let's see here. Smack a freak on. Proud Heavy Metaphors. Buy my beats. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. This may or may not get muted in the VOD. So you guys are about to see the live reaction here. So, Heavy Metaphors, Smack Freak.
You never been in your place. Always moving silence, never question your fate. Always gotta make sure they straight. If I'm getting money, then you know we all gotta play. Just a baby and a tummy, mama knew I was great. They can play me like a dummy, they know what not to take. But these niggas cut the money, only thing I'ma chase. Time is precious, that's the only thing I try not to waste. She hate cause I'm like that, you can tell on the face. I've been eating so much, I've been saying my grace. When the times was rough, I would look up and pray. Thank God I ain't had to smack a bone my day. Fucking God, smack a bitch today. Thank God I ain't had to smack a bitch today. Yeah, smack a bitch today. Thank God I ain't had to smack a bitch today. Yeah, smack a bitch today. Thank God I ain't had to smack a bitch today. Smack a bitch today. Thank God I ain't had to smack a bitch today. Pulling up OG when I'm smoking my J. New car too fast, so I win in the race. Last star, fast car, cool breeze in your face. Don't hate on me, bitch, stay in your place. You rap about an Audi too much, because my Audi paid off, bitch. Hush. Why she be yelling so much? If I see you in the streets, bitch, your ass is done. I don't need your opinion. Do what I fucking want. You such a fucking chump. Pockets all swole up some. Damn, bitch, you a
That was fucking nuts. That was such a what? That was a ride and a half, man. Holy shit. What the fuck? Mark, the public gonna hate me, but Bad Baby got the same cadence and flow as Rico, just not as aggressive. I ain't taking it back either. I fuck with them both heavy. Holy shit. Holy shit. Mark with the fire hot take. We gotta get Mark on the show here so we can hear some more fucking hot takes. Oh my god, that is funny. That is funny. But yeah, this remix is really, really well done. Really, really well done. Like the first time I heard this, my girlfriend let me know. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Oh, remix word. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep, Shadow Heavy Metaphors. So, let's break this down, man. We're gonna talk about two things. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, and we're gonna dive into a couple of subjects because obviously no like original vocals on this. So we'll talk about how Rico's vocals were used and things like that. So instrumentally, right off rip, this mix is really, really fucking nice. Especially with the muddy 808s and the bass just really, really knocking. I feel like there was no kind of distortion, at least like bad distortion anyway. I do feel like this was a crisp, crisp mix. Now, when you talk about heavy metaphors and human resources, that's kind of a standard. You're gonna get, a very crisp mix for sure. Definitely something we're used to here on the show. But wow, 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 wow. So the vocals here were very well utilized, but it definitely brought like more griminess to Rico, like 100%. But mixing in the Missy Elliott was very like it was like such a nice touch because it's not like a full blown kind of um like true like DJ mashup where like the beat just switches and it's like okay, we switch into Missy Elliott now. Like nah, it was almost like a remix. Oh man, this is definitely something. This is definitely something. So it definitely is like very much the term of a mashup because there's a lot here, and I do feel like every sample was very very well utilized. But once again, I do feel like the structure um gave this such like such originality, truly. But I do like the direction of the harder drums. Drum selection here is a big, big fucking thing, and usually Heavy Metaphors keeps it very like, I wouldn't say like more alternative, but this is definitely on like the more grimier, darker, muddier side that we've heard. We've gotten occasional experimental kind of tracks that aren't as like bass heavy, but this is definitely one that really like showed heavy side of like really grinding out some hip hop drums and really like experimenting with it. And I love how it came out, to be honest with you. So the mix is a very, very good talking point here. Structure is very well done. Drum selection's nice. I like the griminess of it a lot. Um, Now, the overall theme, I mean, pretty self explanatory, right? Definitely just a mashup, but also a really good showcase of Heavy Metaphor's skill. Now, the cover is definitely like um just a regular Heavy Metaphors cover, but it does justice because you got Heavy Metaphors here. You have effort. You know what I mean? So you're like, okay, it's just a little mashup. I'm gonna throw this up. So aesthetically, definitely good. But for the overall theme, like pretty self-explanatory, like I said, very much is a mashup. But I do like the darker take on this for sure. Definitely a darker, grimier, and just very much like an original underground kind of sound, and a really good take on this for sure. Huge shout out to Heavy Metaphors. I thank you for the submission, homie. Much, much motherfucking love. Make sure you follow Heavy Metaphors on YouTube. Go subscribe. They are on their way to 110. They are 6 away, my friends. And of course, make sure you follow Heavy Metaphors on Twitter. Heavy just hit 1K. Let's go. Great milestone. Great, great milestone. Go show Heavy Metaphors some love. On their way to 1010. So go show them some love. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We are approaching 90 subscribers. Huge shout out to everybody that already has. I see you guys supporting the drops. Thank you. And if you haven't, what the fudge are you doing, man? No, but definitely go show love to some of these artists and go show love to the channel. Let's get it, chat. Let's get it. So, let's get a scope of things coming up. So we have Human Resources up next. Lil Caesar, Heretic, Offspring Troy, TDG, got some Mark, Matt Rocks, Bloodcat. We have Nita again, but we already reacted to that last week, so we won't be going through that. But we got some good ones coming up, chat. We got some good ones coming up. Okay, so I have been sitting here for an hour and a half, so that means I got to take a leak. Huge shout out to everybody that has came through tonight and showed love. Everybody who's watching and in attendance, make sure you get up, go take a break, go walk around, go get some water, go get a snack, because we have plenty more reviews coming at you. Music Mondays podcast will be right back in 60 seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Music Mondays podcast. I hope you're well. Hope you got up. Hope you had a excellent break. But we're gonna hop right back into submissions. So up next, we have Human Resources, which we just reacted to a members remix. Heavy Metaphors, but Human Resources submitted Super Normal Mr. Oaks. Super Normal is Human Resources plus Danger Dat Son. I believe we've reviewed one of their collabs a while back. I want to say some months ago. Definitely some months ago. It had more of like a different kind of theme. So I'm definitely interested in that. Fire. Okay. Where have I seen that logo before? Am I just tripping, or has anybody else seen that logo before? I feel like I recognize that from somewhere. Interesting. Let's get into it. Super Normal, Mr. Oaks. Damn. Damn. Okay. This was very, very interesting. You can like feel the collaborative effort in this. Like for sure you can. Like without a doubt. Wow. Okay, so like I said, Human Resources um alternative sounding duo that has been featured on the show for quite a while. Probably since 2021. They teamed up with a Danger Dat Son. And we've reviewed one of their collabs before here on the show. But this one definitely has a completely different sound for sure. I like the 8-bit flavor. I agree. It definitely had a little bit of that, didn't it? It definitely did. So, let's break this down. We are going to talk about two things, because obviously no vocals here. So, we're going to talk about the instrumental, talk about the overall theme of Mr. Oaks. So, instrumentally, per usual, like I said with the Heavy Metaphors track, um, this is a very, very well done mix for sure. This mix is just one of those mixes that's like it's not like standard, but it definitely makes or breaks a track like this, and I do feel like this mix was very, very much on point. So the mix is solid, nothing clashing too overbearing. I like the combination of sounds, how everything kind of has its own space. Everything really, really is nice and tight around this mix for sure. But this is definitely um crossing a couple genre boundaries, if you will, for sure. Um, some real hard hip hop elements mixed with some pop elements, mixed with some alternative elements. Um, Shining star for me though, 100%, was the structure. Again, like for an instrumental track, this structure A1. Now, if the sound selection wasn't so good, I don't know if this would have had as much style. But it has, like Mark mentioned, flavor. Like I think flavor is a very good term for this. It's a very like vibrant, emotional kind of like feel good track for sure. Definitely more on like the positive light, but it still brings that like heavy knock and like griminess to I I I mean, dare I say, experimentalness as well, right? Because you're dealing with human resources and heavy metaphors, so there's definitely some like inspiration of being experimental here for sure. But all in all, structure really does it for me, especially for this fast-paced kind of style. I feel like structure had to be on point, and everything definitely kept up for sure. For a first-time listener, you'd be easily engaged. So let's talk about the theme here. Aesthetically, I feel like I've seen not like this design, right? Like on a cover, but I've seen that logo before. And I don't know where, unless I'm tripping. I've seen something similar. But I love the color palette here. I do feel like the colors complement the track. It's definitely more on the lighter side. So I do feel like the cover was well done and well chosen. But as far as the overall theme, you can just feel the collaborative effort in this, like I said. Like, not only is this human resources, but this is human resources plus danger that sun. So there was definitely some like other like kind of inspiration going on in here. Cause like the more people you get on a track, the more unique it gets, to be honest with you. Like there's a lot of stuff in here that you just can't cook up solo because of having like just another set of ears. Like it's really just simply that. Like that's why collaborative effort is so important because you have another person's like insight instead of ears, and what they hear on a track might not be exactly what you hear on a track. So this definitely came out like a collab and definitely very, very original. So huge shout out to Heavy Metaphors, Human Resources, and Danger at Sun. And of course, make sure you follow Human Resources on Twitter. Human Resources also at 1K. They are 30 away from 1.1. Go show them some love. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 90 subscribers. Go show the channel some love and go show these artists some love. So, continuing on, my friends. Continuing on. Up next, we got the homie Lil Caesar. Now, Lil Caesar was a producer we heard for the first time, I want to say a couple of weeks ago. It definitely wasn't that long ago. Um, but Lil Caesar definitely has a very much alternative cloud, almost like dark trap inspired style. But I'm definitely interested to get into more of their library. So they submitted a track titled "Clock In 3:33 p.m." My newest and it's wild is the caption. Okay, okay, okay. We'll take your word for it. We'll take your word for it. Cover is really, really nice. Holy shit, this cover is really nice. What the fuck? Logo top. Filter's nice. Edits are nice. Parental advisories. Really dope. Okay. Alright, bet. How I felt clocking in today. Okay. The waveform. 20 hours ago, tag trap. Let's get it. Little Caesar, clock in 3:33 p.m. Let's go. $3:33. Wow.
Welcome to the awakening. Welcome to the awakening.
Wow. Okay, that was definitely a fucking trip. Absolutely a fucking trip. So, not what I was expecting at all. This was like along the lines of experimental, but it definitely kept like its roots in the kind of sounds that it's touching on. So, let's break this down. We're going to talk about two things because obviously no vocals here. So, we're going to talk about the instrumental and talk about the overall theme of Clock In 333. So, right off whip, I just want to say this mix, A1. Absolutely A1. Especially for how, like, how much a variety of sounds there are in here in this mix to be this crisp. Excellent. Excellent. Shout out this engineer, 100%. Now, one thing that I think really gives this track like a very much dreamlike sound is not only the mix, but like the specifics of the mix, like the reverb, the kind of almost structure and layout as well. I think drum selection is another really good noting point here. Not only drum selection, but the overall structure of the drums, like the hats, the patterns, everything was really, really like it complemented each other, but it was so fucking unique. Like the hats, um, the percussions, like, and even the choice of 808 here and the style it's in is almost like it's like so aggressive, but it has this kind of groove to it, and it really left me kind of like, okay, like this is like very experimental, but it's still on the lines of like, trap, like it's tagged, or alternative track, like even darker, but like not really, because the melody is so like future and like dreamlike, but the drums will have you think that it's like very like dark and aggressive. And even some like electronic inspiration is in here, right? Like you kind of get a little bit of like, yeah, see, look, like the tags down below. Yeah, look at instrumental. Yeah, dubstep. Yeah, see, that was kind of like the inspiration that I had here, but it's super experimental and doesn't really like assign itself a seat. This is very, very original for sure. And I like the overall style because it's not too experimental as to where it sounds fucking insane and there's like nothing to grasp onto here. Um so I'd say Shining Star for me is definitely the genre blending and the overall style, but the structure really kept it like consistent, especially for an instrumental track. Which, by the way, Lil Caesar's definitely another producer that you got to tip, or actually, um, really just being a producer that likes to release instrumentals, likes to release full tracks, likes to release just music and treat themselves like an artist. So this overall track is just a very, very good thing. We've been getting a lot of new producers that like to put out instrumentals of their own and treat them like full songs, which they are. So I think, it's good to recognize that 100%. But Shining Star, like I said, definitely the genre blending, definitely the sound blending here. Mix is very, very solid. Lots of really good talking points here about this. So let's talk about the theme. Aesthetically, this cover is very, very fucking stunning. The artist did a really good job, especially with the parental advisory, the shadow work. It almost looks like 3D, like super crazy render. And then you have 333 on the clock in the back. Like, well fucking done. It's like minimalistic, but it's super attractive. Super, super fucking attractive. And definitely goes along with this kind of dreamlike, cloud kind of sound. So, clock in 3:33 p.m. The overall theme, right? The description, how I felt clocking in today, definitely has that aggressive kind of go up, get shit done. Like shit like this could even be like a gym song because it's so like come at you fast paced, but it has this peaceful kind of energy to it. So 333, being an angel number and things like that, and also clocking in and kind of having that like aggressive in your face kind of style really mixes well for this overall vibe 100%. And then you wrap it up with nice aesthetics and you just have a really well packaged instrumental track as a single. Love this. Keep doing your thing, Lil Caesar. Definitely keep releasing instrumentals. Love to hear that. And of course, make sure you follow Lil Caesar on SoundCloud. They are 6 away from 200. Great fucking milestone. And of course, make sure you follow Grapes Remixed on Twitter. They are 8 away from 410 followers. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. We are approaching 90 subscribers on the Music Mondays channel. So huge shout out to everybody that already has subscribed and everybody that runs up the drops. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, if you haven't already, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? We upload 2 times a week, exclusive segments, full podcast episodes. A whole lot of good stuff is going down on the channel, man. Make sure you go show the channel and these artists some love. King Mark Music. I liked, no, I already read that. Just tested positive for COVID and ain't got no sick days. We're gonna regret that one. Jesus, that is tragic. We get some prayers in the chat for the homie Mark, man. That is tragic. Jesus. Hopefully you feel better. Just fucking comes and goes, man. So, let's continue on. Up next, we got the homie, Lord Heretic. Very good friend of mine, an artist I manage. And ever since they first submitted to the show, Heretic has been a leading scorer in heavier vocals, a heavier sound, an alternative sound. Heretic, is an artist we've reviewed and reacted to a lot here on the show, like a lot. Me and Heretic have quite a few tricks up our sleeve, and this is definitely going to be a special reaction for sure. So let's pop this open in a new Tabaroonie. This is a track that I've heard a lot. I've heard this song a lot, so I'm very familiar with it. But reacting to it is going to be very fun here on the show. Very, very fun. Now, this cover art is super fucking attractive. Huge shout out to Fury. Fury did an excellent, excellent fucking job on this art. 100%. Especially with the quality of it. Like, it's like 4K. Especially if you, like, have the actual file. It looks fucking insane. Heretic the GOAT. I agree, Mark. I agree, my friend. Time to say hi. I hope you're well. Yo, let's get it going, bananas. Much love, my friend. Appreciate the love. I hope you're well. So, back to Heretic. They submitted a track titled Bleed. Now, Bleed is featuring D. McKenzie, Prod Aesthetic Gloom, mixed by none other than Cole Gerard. So this track is really a great blend of stuff. Like a really, really great blend of sounds. So without further ado, I have a lot of talking points about this. So let's break this down. This is our first reaction here live on the show.
Slap you in your motherfucking face, nigga. Stomp your head till it motherfucking break, nigga. Thinking stupid, make me do it. I'ma have to make it. Ask the people, is you fucking with me? Hell no. His ass with the people's elbow. Can you smell what I'm cooking? Can you smell smoke? Got 'em drunk off the cans, no more Delos.
Jeez. Yeah, that is fucking it, man. Like, that track is... It just comes at you, and then you're fucking out. Like, holy shit. So, let's break this down. Let's talk a little bit about what we got going on here. And also, if you saw me fucking with my mouse while we were listening to that, bro, those of you who have, like, mouses and mice and shit like that, bro, randomly it just felt like my mouse got like really, really slow, and it's just like a super, super pet peeve of mine for sure. Funk vibes? Oh, most definitely, my friend. So let's break this one down. We're gonna talk about three things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, we'll talk about vocals, and talk about the overall theme of Bleed. So instrumentally, Aesthetic Gloom is like very much a great just a duo to Heretic, right? Like, we've reacted to countless tracks Prod Aesthetic by Heretic, man. Like, we have reacted to a lot, and I just feel like they're very much like on the same wavelength and just understand each other sonically, truly. Like, I just feel like they're such a great duo. Now, we sometimes get heavier sounds from Heretic. We sometimes get, more alternative sounds. But, like, Aesthetic is really, like, another big catalyst for that. Aesthetic just comes with the fucking heat. So, huge shout out Aesthetic. Much like Mark said, just very much funk vibes. Almost has, like, a punk vibe to it as well. Lots of hip-hop trap elements. The whole Aesthetic Gloom package is here, for sure. So, let's talk about vocals. Now, Heretic sounds really, really fucking insane on this track. not only writing wise, but Cole with the mix really did an excellent job. But more so than that, I feel like the delivery on everything is really, really good on Heretic's end. Heretic just set a really good foundation for D McKenzie to come up and clean up for sure. Just really wrap the track up and just come through and give you a quick heater and you're out. I mean, this track clocks in at a minute 23, but that's something we've always said about Heretic was, Heretic's an artist that really has mastered that kind of short track style as to where you get the whole package in such a short amount of time and they really feel like fully fleshed out tracks, but they're so short. It's like, oh shit, like that was I gotta go listen to that John again. So Heretic did an excellent job. Um the mix is such a shining star here, but Heretic's writing has really been on another level, and even this track, it being like an unreleased older track, dropped 17 days ago, but we've had it in the vault. So Heretic's writing has only progressed, and this is just another great example of that writing just really upping the ante, if you will. But Heretic's vocals are really, really excellent on this. Definitely, it's just one of those tracks that gets you really hyped for sure. Like it definitely makes you bop your head without doubt. Now, D McKenzie, like I said, really came in and cleaned up this track a lot, and almost was like on a very punk kind of vibe with Heretic, because anybody could have came in and like spit, you know, your different kind of like abnormal verse, right? But I feel like D McKenzie really followed up Heretic extremely nicely here, and really set a good example for anybody that isn't familiar with D McKenzie. Right, I feel like this is a track where you'd be more interested in both of them, and you'd be like, oh shit, this is a good duo here, So I like that about this a lot. Um, and D McKenzie's writing was really good as well. Simple but really effective punchlines. Now the overall theme, right? Aesthetically, huge shout out to Fury. Fury did a really, really good fucking job on this cover. Like I love this cover a lot. Simple but effective again. But the overall theme, inherently obvious, right? Bleed, it's in the lyrics, it's in the hook, it's in the punchlines, just a very like aggressive track as to where you'd be listening to this shit to go do something productive. You'd be going to the gym. You'd be going to just fucking. Just one of those tracks that you'd love to hear live, because it's just one of those get up and move kind of tracks, but back it up with some aesthetic gloom kind of production. You really get like such a treat here. You know what I mean? Like everybody on this track really did an excellent fucking job. Honestly, this is like really like such a symbol of improvement from Heretic's like earlier collabs like this, compared to like say something off of like pre and Still I Wept. Like the only thing before and Still I Wept is just like gets blown out of the water when you hear stuff like Bleed. So well fucking done, my friend. Huge shout out to Heretic for the submission, homie. Much motherfucking love. Make sure you follow Lord Heretic on SoundCloud. Heretic is 5 away from 780. Go show Heretic some love. And of course, make sure you follow Lord Heretic on Twitter. Heretic is 8 followers away from 280. Go show Heretic some love. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 90 subscribers and we upload 2 times a week. Exclusive segments, full podcast episodes, a whole lot of good stuff is going down on the channel. Go show these artists and the channel some love. So, moving right along, my friends, moving right along. So we're getting to the tail end here. Last couple, and then we're going to check out what we have for media. I know we have a couple good media submissions. Up next, though, we have the homie Offspring Mysterious. And Offspring has just been pumping out content, whether it be instrumentals, whether it be full edits and visuals. Offspring has really, really been killing it. Really, really been fucking killing it. So, this week, Offspring submitted a instrumental, I believe, and it's titled Full Charisma, New Energy. And caption, I'm a god full of charisma. So, this is going to be a big EDM fan. Okay, wait, hold on. We got some love here. And the descriptions are insane. Offspring's writing. Definitely check this out if you ever have the time. Definitely check this out. Lots of good love on this. Like the intro, like the song. We got Offspring in the chat. Welcome, Offspring. I hope you're well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Monday, my friend. Let's get right into this. Offspring Mysterious, full charisma, new energy. Okay. Yeah. That flip though.
Oh yeah.
I'm just scratching the surface.
Let's go, man. The 2 years old, right? So not brand new, not exactly super super old, but this is legitimately an Offspring classic at this point. Just because us at the podcast have heard this in so many good Offspring edits and used in so many ways that's like just extremely memorable. You know what I mean? So I feel like Offspring really has something that's like just so recognizable here. Like absolutely. So, no vocals. Let's break this down. We're gonna talk about two things. Talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about the overall theme of Full of Charisma, New Energy. So, like I said, very much a classic Offspring instrumental at this point. This is really like almost the um like just the very like essence of Offspring. Like we've heard this in so many edits and like used in ways where it's just so synonymous with Offspring. Like I can't hear this and not think of Offspring. But let's break this down. So this mix absolutely extremely solid and well rounded. Like it's one of those mixes where it's not like meant to like make the track like pop extremely like just it's not meant to pop like that. It's a mix to really like just keep it grounded, very very solid. Everything's nice and crisp, nothing's clashing to overbearing. Very much a solid mix here. Now I would say the whole theme of sort of a two-part track has always been Offspring's kind of um skill, right? Like we've seen Offspring really take a couple of tracks that they produced and really make like a full-blown kind of um almost beat switch. And I think Offspring does a really really good job at that, and this is like a really fine example of it because once again, it's fit in so many good places. So, very recognizable just because of that alone. But much like some of the comments said, somewhat of an EDM inspiration, but I would definitely classify it as more of like a dance, like alternative pop kind of style. I would definitely say it's along those lines of really like pushing the boundaries of like new pop and things like that. So, um I really love the kind of like effort that was put into really like crafting an original sound using these baseline genres, much like we see a lot on the show where people sort of genre blend. I think Offspring really fits into that category for me. Now clocking in at 7:33, this is really I think the finest example you can get from this is this instrumental being you know such a good beat switch because both of them really do their own thing, but I feel like the cover is like right up that alley as well. Like this cover is like really, really A1 when it comes to like fully feeling out this track, right? So a very much a split cover for a split instrumental, which I like. But yeah, clocking in at 7:33. Like I said, I do feel like this is definitely digestible, especially if you're into like almost experimental but more alternative pop and things like that. Um, Definitely perfect for a person who listens to playlists all day. Really is looking for more experimental kind of sounds. Now, let's talk about the theme here. Essentially, we have a split cover, like I said, for the aesthetics. But I do feel like the first part was definitely a bit darker, grungier, grimier, and then the other half was a bit lighter. So I do feel like this cover really was spot on. And then on top of it, you have the Offspring standard kind of art style, as to where you're always going to get, a very recognizable cover from Offspring for sure. So the art definitely spot on. Now, the overall theme, full of charisma, new energy. Like, so it's like, yes, this is a split instrumental, but at the same time, it's like I do feel like New Energy is very representative of like how the beat switch kind of comes in. It's like, okay, like full charisma and then New Energy, like it's very much on point with the kind of vibe that this track makes you feel. 100%, without a doubt to me. So yeah, this is like such a staple for Offspring. You know what I mean? Like we've heard this track in so many videos. It's super cool to react to it here on the show. So huge shout out to Offspring Mysterious. Thank you for the submission, my friend. Much, much, much motherfucking love. Make sure you follow Offspring Mysterious on SoundCloud. Offspring is approaching 2.1K on SoundCloud. Go show Offspring some love, my friends. And of course, make sure you follow Offspring Mysterious on Twitter at Beat Mode. They are 2 away from 880. 2 away, man. 2 away. That's a good milestone. Go show Offspring some love, man. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We upload 2 times a week, exclusive podcast segments, full podcast uploads, exclusive tracks, a whole lot of good stuff is available on the channel. So, let's continue on. Huge shout out to Offspring. Let's get it, baby. Now, up next, we got the homie, Troy Van Dusen. Now, Troy has come in with some fucking heaters the last couple times we've heard them on the show. But they submitted their track titled Popular in Europe, which I'm very interested in hearing, right? That's such an interesting kind of theme direction for sure. So Troy said in the caption, resending again because I was late for episode 97. I fucking love that. I love that. Shout out to fucking Troy, man. If you're ever late or you're ever not following the page when we get to your review or reaction or we get to your submission, just come back next week. You know what I mean? Like, with all pleasure, I would love to react to your track. Like, absolutely. You know what I mean? So, like, I love to see that. You know what I mean? Like, that's how we do it. That's what I mean. Like, resetting again because I was late. Like, damn, okay. Hey, let's fucking go, man. And honestly, the only thing that sums that up is exactly what Mark said. Said boys rise the fuck up. This was a well, um, just great use of a synth, man. Like this was just like Well done, Troy. 2021, so not exactly brand new, not exactly fucking old, but let's break this down. So no vocals. We're gonna talk about two things. Talk about the instrumental, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of Popular in Europe. So, instrumentally, I love this mix, especially for how big this synth is. This is like such a wide synth that just has a lot of fucking emotion. So I do feel like Troy did an excellent job when it comes to, um, really making this synth be the star of this instrumental, but not really making it overpower everything, right? And then everything else was just support, because the synth was just out of this world. So it makes very, very well done. I like, no, not like, I love this mix just because the synth is very, very much wide. So this is giving me very much like, again, alternative pop vibes, giving me a little bit of a dance vibe. And it says popular in Europe, so like I get that kind of direction now, right? Like kind of just reminds you of like rainy Europe. You're just like it puts you right in that feeling for sure. Like I do feel like popular in Europe definitely is a very, very well fitting title. But like I said, Shining Star for me easily the synth. It's well played. It's well utilized. The structure's great. The drum selection was very nice, even though they are like taking a back seat in such a big tracks like this. I do feel like they were well selected for sure. So yeah, Shining Star synth, absolutely. Troy does a lot of really good work with synths. That's one thing I've absolutely noticed since we've ever started reacting and reviewing their music. I do feel like synths are Troy's really big like shining. You know what I mean? Truly like a big talking point. 100%. And clocking in at 4 minutes, this is very digestible as well. This was definitely a instrumental where you're like, okay, like this is a vibe like from start to finish, without a doubt. Very digestible for a 4 minute track. So let's talk about the theme here. Aesthetically, the cover is still like it gives it that like it's one of those covers where it's like this cover has absolutely nothing to do with this theme, but I remember it just because of that. There are so many covers out there that people like and just will use for a song or project that have nothing to do with the track itself. But you're just like, I love this cover. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is giving me that vibe because Popular in Europe definitely brings that like 90s, kind of like European almost fashion, kind of like electronic underground kind of vibe. But you look at the cover and it's like a beautiful jungle with like blue water. And it's like, damn, okay. So like the theme is one of those themes where you're like, I remember that cover. The song's a vibe. You know what I mean? So I like the cover for that a lot. And like I said, Popular in Europe, great title for this. It definitely brings that kind of 90s pop dance electro kind of feel while still being very, very modern. And the synth really took a front seat in this track for sure. So huge shout out to Troy. Thank you for the submission, homie. Much motherfucking love. Well fucking done. Make sure you follow Troy on Spotify, and of course, make sure you follow Troy Van Dusen on Twitter. Troy is approaching 8 followers, 8 followers away from 880. Go show Troy some love, man. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 90 subscribers. We upload 2 times a week, exclusive segments, exclusive podcast episodes, exclusive tracks, a whole lot of good stuff's going down on the channel. Go show the channel and these artists some love. So, we are cranking through audio submissions tonight, my friends. We have some very much big players coming up next. Some Music Mondays familiar faces. And I think you're gonna enjoy these next two. So let's hop right into this. Up next, we got the homie TDG, or Tilted Grave. You know, we've gotten a couple TDG submissions from Cole. TDG has submitted himself. But one thing you can say about TDG is they're always going to try to achieve the highest quality and the highest ceiling they can. TDG is quite the definition of like a modern, original, organic hip-hop influenced rapper. I wouldn't say that TDG is like an artist that is like ultimately influenced by hip-hop, but TDG does like classic hip-hop with like a modern twist very nicely. Now the caption reads, produced and performed by me, mixed and mastered by Cole. Shout out Cole. Made it as an assignment for my physics class. Okay, we got a school assignment. I'm pretty sure this is one of like our second like fucking school assignments, bro. Like I'm pretty sure we've had a school assignment before. So I'm definitely interested in this. 3 days ago, so brand spanking new. Cover's well done as well. Very attractive. I like the way everything's used. Like the border. Yeah, definitely. If I knew, I would tell you, is the description. Interesting, okay. TDG, please explain.
Haven't felt something in so long. Start me up, charge me up like a proton. Haven't felt something in so long. Start me up, charge me up like a proton. Only feeling neutral like a neutron. Too numb to be down, no electron. I'm sorry, I'm out. Mr. Call's been gone.
Hi, you've reached McLean. Hope you have a great day and call back if you need me.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
When the positive comes and attracts the negative, they want more than I have to give.
Damn.
This was when Joe Sports, who will win the deficit? The law of attraction, that's how I'm getting it. I ain't let him in, and I've been better since. Yeah. I'm burning up conduction. This my self-destruction. Hearing sounds of trumpets, roasting the flames combustion. This ain't no fun shit. Heat speeds me up, now I'm running. The light is dim, I ain't see well. 11:11, wish I could be well. I can't sit still, I feel spells, I'm under something. Yeah. Haven't felt something in so long. Start me up, charge me up like a proton. Heat convection, indirect, no contact, not direct connection. Can't pinpoint in my head, I lost connection. Hot air always ascending. Cycles, when it's cold, heat yourself up. I'm in a coma, trying to wake myself up. Feels like the world left us, lost the heat, this ain't no home. In my mind, riding so low. Damn, I dug so low, still got hope though. Yeah. Sun, please warm me up. Radiate, speed me up. I can't wait. Reactions up to me, factors up to fate. Give me some heat, the light will save. Haven't felt something in so long. Charge me up, start me up like a proton. Yeah. Haven't felt something in so long. Start me up, charge me up, yeah. Need to induce a charge to start. Almost touching, but we are worlds apart. Attracting poles are polar. Neutral tracks are solar. Energy transferred, inducted, charged. Hard instructions. I got questions, please explain. Yeah, I'm stumped. This change is abrupt. Opposites attract. Life and death, plus a minus state. Interact. Been given power. Now I'm back. Yeah. Entropy, I make a mess to clean a mess. Always will be disordered. I can't clean this mess, cause I'll just make another mess. Can't be made 100. He will take, and one day it will be a destruction. A system closed, so it makes it hard to clean. Living hard, it's hard to be. I only feel like a part of me. Energy will always be lost to heat. It's called entropy.
Damn, what the fuck?
So it can succeed. No one perfect, especially me. Come on, I know. Just let me be. Trap, now I'm stuck, let me free. Photons, let me see the inner light in me. Just don't see no color. This ain't me, I'm some other. Blocking things out, I close the shutters. Life's a bitch I want, but you won't be my lover. Yeah. Energy can't be created or destroyed, only transferred. This ain't the end, but I still got the answer. Energy can't come from nothing. Big bang, love the construction, but doom inevitable. Heat brings destruction. Death to a plant, to an ant. Cycles expand, stifle sand. Tall, yeah, I'm here for the long haul. Haven't known something that's so long. Start me up, charge me up like a proton. I am buoyant, I'm on a sinking ship that's sinking quick. Not depth enough, not tough enough, I swim to live. The force I bring is matched. Dark waters when I'm swimming in. Trying to float, need to displace enough weight. Need to be tough, need to hold my place. Cause this world filled with heartbreaks. I wanna float, I need to change ways and make waves, break waves, stay in place, stay on pace. Dove in, I made a splash. It resembles my impact. What I brought is what I move. Volume in, volume out. Impact, the same exact. I can't swim. I can't swim. Can you please explain why I gotta live? I just wanna be a kid. I don't feel right. Come on, there's something. I can't feel nothing. I'm so numb. This ain't no damn fun. I just wanna run away. Some far place. I like magic. I don't know what's happened. Damn, alright.
Wow. Okay, much to talk about here. This is different. I couldn't agree with you more, my friend. I couldn't agree with you more. This is quite the interesting kind of theme and overall, like, just an interesting take on TDG, to be honest with you, because this is such like a, because it is for a physics class, I believe, right? Yeah, assignment for my physics class. So this is some skill right here, my friends. This is some fucking skill. So let's break this down. Let's talk about three things. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme. Please explain. So the instrumental, super fucking experimental, but down to its core, I would definitely agree that it's hip hop and rap. Definitely has the hip hop influences, slight trap influences, but mainly hip hop. Definitely has a lot of modern elements, but the mix is very well done. Shout out to Cole. But for the instrumental itself, though, well produced, and it definitely has like so much originality to it. But I think a shining star for the instrumental's got to be the structure. That's definitely well noted. How everything's structured and laid out in this instrumental really gave TDG the ammo to utilize all the lyrics that are in here. So let's talk about that, because the instrumental really was just such a TDG standardness to where it's very like experimental underground hip hop, but the lyrics are such like a important part of this track because the writing is just so well done. But it's literally about physics, like it's literally like for a physics class. So like you get these subtle like lines and punch bars, and like the way it's delivered, like it's like a like it's not a troll. Like I think that's what I love about it, is like somebody would do this kind of shit and they would kind of like make a joke out of it, or like they just make like meme rap. This is not even a troll. Like you're actually picking up like subtle bars about physics, and it's like, what? Like that shit is very, very dope. Definitely a different style of mix than we're used to from TDG. Not like drastic or anything like that, but definitely has a more alternative style than what we're used to, and I definitely love the vocal mix on this 100%. It definitely matches up with like the experimentalness and the originality of the instrumental. So the vocals sit very, very nicely. But yeah, Shining Star is absolutely the writing. I mean, clocking in at 5:22, to be able to fill 5 minutes and 22 seconds with bars about your physics class is fucking, if that's not a skill, I don't know what is, bro. Like, that is excellent fucking writing. Like, but on top of it, though, it's very well performed. Like, it's very well delivered. It's definitely well thought out. I hope TDG got a fucking A for this, bro. Like, come on, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. I think this is really, really dope. And it's just well done, you know what I mean? It's just a great showcase of skill. Super, super simple theme. and really like brings out like it takes you back to the basics and like reminds you of like your regular skills as a musician and like how do I just create a fucking song about anything? And this is like a really, really good showcase of that. So let's talk about the theme here. Aesthetically, um, like I said, this cover is really dope, and with how experimental and like original this track is, I do feel like this is a very good cover when it comes to like fitting in line with almost like just this experimental, almost kind of dark, vibe. It just has this like sciency kind of vibe. Like I don't know, like something like that. S- I, I, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but how this track sounds is exactly how this picture looks. That's a fact. That is a big fucking fact. So the overall theme, I mean, relatively obvious, right? It was for a physics class, so not many bars you can pick out here that's not really like a part of the theme. But one thing I do want to know is the fact that how everything was presented. Cause like even though there were bars and punchlines and lyrics about physics shit, it also was delivered in a way that sort of like had emotion and flow and cadence and it was very stylish, even though it was such a simple yet like almost basic topic. But TDG like really showed that you can take like something super fucking simple like this and really make it stretch. You know what I mean? And really like just use it to show off your skills rather than like show off the topic itself. So well done. Huge shout out to TDG, man. Make sure you follow TDG on SoundCloud. TDG is 7 away from 130. Make sure you follow TDG on Twitter at maliciousg. They are 2 away from 150. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays podcast if you haven't already. We are approaching 90 subscribers. We upload 2 times a week, exclusive segments, exclusive podcast episodes, full podcast episodes, exclusive tracks, a whole lot of good shit's available on the Music Mondays channel. Go show the channel and these artists some love. TG got 100% on this. Yo, no cap though. A++, good work. Yeah, nah. For real. Chainsaw, what's good, baby? I hope you're well. Welcome. Happy Monday. So, I believe we have 3 vocal submissions left, and these are 3 Music Mondays veterans here. Really 3 veterans, to be honest with you. So let's dive in. Up next, we got the homie, King Mark. Now, not only did King Mark just recently celebrate a birthday, huge shout out to Mark, but Mark has been absolutely killing it this year, and we all know that Mark is very, very active within the underground and Music Mondays community, so, there's so much to say about Mark, but Mark definitely killed it this year, but we've been getting some, like, throwbacky kind of tracks from Mark, so I'm very, very interested in this. This week, Mark submitted a track titled Get Away, Prod Zeke Beats. Here we go again, King Mark. It has that like classical. I'm like it just has this classical like early and like I feel like everybody in their career has covers like this and or like made a cover like this or like just like I don't know like it just has that throwback kind of cover style to it. So this will be interesting. 2 years ago, so not brand new, not exactly super fucking old. Dude, this shit is so good. Can you review my last one, please? What does he think? Your Music Mondays? But let's get it. Get Away, King Mark, Prod Zeke Beats.
Different day, but we do the same things. Yeah, my life is so mundane, so I gotta get away, yeah. Get away, run away, yeah, gotta run away. Different day, but we do the same things. Yeah, my life is so mundane, so I gotta get away,
Damn.
Goes so slowly, passes by you with no warning.
Cruising, top down. Said you wanna ride, but you not found. I just wanna die, put me in the ground. Fantasizing suicide, I might now. Slow it down, I'm falling too fast. Hear me out, I knew this wouldn't last. Got another test that I wouldn't pass. Taking out my heart, shattered like some glass.
Different day, but we do the same things. Yeah, my life is so mundane, so I gotta get away, get away, get away, get away, get away, run away, yeah, I gotta run away. Different day, but we do the same things. Yeah, my life is so mundane, so I gotta get away, get away,
Get away,
get away,
get away.
run away, yeah, I gotta run away.
This waveform is such like, it's just like an indication that it's such a very like well crafted mix, to be honest with you. Okay, many thoughts on this. Many thoughts on this King Mark throwback here. So, like I said, we've been getting some King Mark throwbacks, and this is right up our alley. So, let's break this one down. We're gonna talk about three things. Talk about the instrumental, we're talking about vocals, and talk about the overall theme of Get Away. So, this is featuring Becca Is Sleeping, but you know, there's so many really good talking points here. Now, Zeke Beats, I don't think we've heard much from them with King Mark, if anything. So this is definitely a rare King Mark track, without a doubt. I want to remake it. That'd be sick. Tagged hip hop and rap, but definitely giving me slight lo-fi vibes, maybe even alternative cloud vibes. Definitely like a very kickback kind of track for sure. Definitely alternative. But the instrumental definitely sets the mood for what's about to come 100%. So Zeke did an excellent job. I do like the mix as well. Like I said, like this waveform is like, even with the instrumental and vocals, like waveform looking good, but it knocks. So that's what's good. Yeah, so thinking about it, this also is a very like standard King Mark instrumental for 2 years ago. We reviewed a couple King Mark classics, and when we reacted to them, it definitely brings that like lo-fi kind of like organic hip hop kind of feel, right? And this is no different. Definitely gives me that energy for sure. So the instrumental, well chosen, 100%. Definitely a classic King Mark choice. But let's talk about vocals here. Featuring Becca Is Sleeping, but I feel like Becca definitely set like a good foundation for this, for sure. Like this instrumental, yes, but Becca definitely came through and really just set like a softer tone, which allowed Mark to dive into emotions, right? Because if you're not like going super hard on like an emotional hook, I felt like that gave Mark the chance to be able to really spit some real shit here, to be honest with you. Like there are a lot of like notable bars in here that was like, okay, okay. Because the shining star for me in this track here is absolutely the writing. The writing is such a prelude to like what was to come, man. It was such like a preview to just, you know, what King Mark does now. So I think that's really, really dope to see this. Like to hear this for the first time and think, damn, Mark definitely came a long way, not only since the beginning of when we first heard Mark on the show, but also just overall as an artist, right? Because, like I said 2 years ago, not brand new, but not exactly super fucking old. So it's like, damn, that's a lot of progress in writing, delivery. Like, come on, man. So you could tell during this track that there were points where Mark just kept on writing. It was just gonna, like, the ceiling was just gonna get higher and higher and higher. So, love to see that. Love to fucking see that with these throwback tracks, man. Definitely puts a smile on my face. Very, very cool. So, let's talk about the overall theme, right? Like, I mean, here we go again. You know, a part of a whole King Mark era. You know, um, But like I said, I feel like these covers are so classic to like who we are as artists, right? Because everybody has a couple. I have one for sure. I think it's uploaded on like my archive account with like all my old beats. Like I have a couple covers like that are like, oh damn, that's such a throwback. But like you'd never change it because it's like it's just classic shit. Um, really, really is. So the overall theme, getaway, inherently obvious, right? About getting away, about pushing people away, about you yourself getting away. A really good kind of topic that a lot of people can relate to, and I think Becca and Mark were able to deliver that in a short 2 minutes and 16 seconds, and not super short either. I just think that like it's such a big topic about getting away that you could talk about for hours and hours and hours, but to condense that into a 2 minute and 16-second story, really well done, and it's what Mark continues to do today. You know what I mean? Just on a higher level and just you know an insane maturing. So I like that a lot. Huge shout out to King Mark, and thank you so much, my friend, for letting us react to this throwback. Make sure you follow King Mark on SoundCloud. Mark is 5 away from 160 followers on SoundCloud. Go show Mark some love. And of course, make sure you follow King Mark on Twitter. Mark is 9 away from 280 followers. Go show Mark some love, man. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. And make sure you're subscribed to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 90 subscribers. We upload 2 times a week, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff's going down on the channel. Go show the channel and these artists some love. The mix is the biggest improvement. BCat had me rethinking a lot of shit. Yeah, like, I don't know, like, the way I see it sometimes, though, like, I feel like music is so, like, you can just come up with more. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you don't gotta, like, go back and, like, redo ideas unless you, like, really wanted to. And it was, like, something that was, like, super important. You were like, nah, like, that is the wrong vision. But, like, sometimes projects just kind of do their thing, and if you feel like they were, like, underappreciated, then you just gotta cook more. You know what I mean? You gotta cook more and, like, put that shit into, like, the future. You know what I mean? Or you go about it and you're like, all right, here's a whole remix of this album, or like here's like a deluxe, or here's like the anniversary edition. Like, you could go a couple ways with that and just kind of remix it all, but give it like a purpose. You know what I mean? But I think shit like that's very, very cool. Very cool. Okay. So everybody has killed it with fucking audio tonight. Let's get into our last 2 audio submissions of the night. Up next, we got the homie Matt Rocks. And this is a track that we tweeted out the other day on some new music tweet, but Matt also submitted for us to react. So let's get into this. And if you've never heard of Matt Rocks, this is an artist that I always say has an extremely fucking high ceiling, extremely well versed in genres, production, and engineering. Like, you name it, Matt has done some form of it to like such a insane degree that like it's impossible not to see the ceiling. You know what I mean? From singles to collabs to different genres to, we've heard a lot from Matt that is just really, really fucking insane. Really insane. And one of the highest ceilings. Absolutely. So, they submitted a Gex remix. And this is going to be interesting for sure. Hair Crush by a Mallet remix. Matt Rocks. Okay. Description. I talked to a Gek. He said that my time is coming. Hey. You already know. You heard it here on the fucking Music Mondays podcast, baby. Like, the ceiling is just there, man. It's fucking there. And Matt just keeps breaking it through. So I love this cover. Definitely a very like almost like punk early nostalgic 2000s vibe. Which totally fits Matt's aesthetic 100%. But 2 days ago, brand new Matt Rocks Hand Crushed by a Mallet remix.
Another girl, I want your studio. You won't think twice when you read it all. You're just here, mixing in the song. You think that's okay? You'll just sing along. You just got everything we do. If I wasn't me, I'd copy it too. You just got everything we do. If I wasn't me, I'd copy it too. I'd copy it too. I'd copy it too.
The end. Oh my god. Damn, man. What the fuck? Also, Dread actually played next. That's kind of funny. That, yeah, no. Yeah, Mark. No, it's hot. What? Let's fucking get it, Mark. Yeah, I mean, what can you say? Matt is very, very well versed in remixing. Like, very, very well versed. So, let's break this down. We're going to talk about three things here. We're going to talk about the instrumental. We're going to talk about vocals. And we're going to talk about the overall theme of Hand Crushed by a Mallet. So, I mean, we've all heard Gex, right? You know, at one point or another, we've heard Gex really take over the underground scene and really break almost into the mainstream light, right? So to see Matt kind of give their take on one of the classics that really started a lot of this alternative hyperpop sounds, man. I mean, it's really cool to see Matt go and remix this, but let's talk about the instrumental. 100% you're always going to get a really, really good mix from Matt. Like, without a doubt, you're going to get an insane mix no matter what. Not once have I heard a Matt Rocks track that has even had like a slightly iffy mix. Even anything that Matt is featured on has not even had a slightly iffy mix. So no surprise, you know what I mean? I can't sit here and say I'm surprised. You can always expect that from Matt. So the mix is well done. The instrumental is really out of this world. Like, really, really fucking out of this world. But as far as the instrumental goes, I think the mix is really important with this because Matt's vocals are so, like, vibrant and so fucking, so wide. So I truly feel like, this instrumental had to be mixed to a T, otherwise this just wasn't going to work, and I think Matt did a really, really good fucking job with that. So let's talk about vocals here. The main part of this is just a really, really well done delivery for a remix. Like, wow. Wowie, wow, wow. And like I said, we've heard a lot of different genres from Matt, from alternative to straight trap shit to plug shit to, even like sometimes acoustic shit. We've heard EDM kind of writing, like it kind of like riding the fine line of like alternative EDM, just like dipping the toe in. But this without a doubt shows off Matt's pop skills for sure, and not only performing pop, but really like blending the line of like hyper pop, alternative pop, and real like just elements of hip hop. Like, wow, what the fuck? Like, so safe to say the shining star of vocals is easily the performance and the delivery. Everything was extremely fucking well done with this. Like, really well done. Matt should easily be proud of this just because it's an underground classic, and this type of sound really set a standard for a lot of people that are into this kind of sound. And I feel like Matt definitely did this justice for sure, especially vocally. So let's talk about the theme here. Much like I said, very much a Matt Rock sounding track, if I'm being honest with you, or Matt Rock's type of art. Like it really has like this nostalgic kind of like almost like early 2000s kind of feel, right? Like high school yearbook, type of feel, which I think is fucking dope. And you have like the lighter color palette, which definitely to me falls right in line with Matt Rock's, definitely. I mean, the overall theme though, a well done remix. That's what the overall theme is. But I think underneath all that though, remixing a classic like this, like I said, that set a standard for a lot of people, is super, super fucking dope. And it really shows Matt's ability to not only like remix and give like their own take on a track like this, but really show off their skill and like what their creative mindset is for like something like this. You know what I mean? Like, because Matt has like plenty of original tracks and like singles that are just really teetering on this kind of sound, but they're completely originals, not remixes. So a remix is like it tells a lot of like not only like your ceiling, but really your skill and like how well you can perform, another body of work. And I think that's a real testament to Matt being an artist, you know what I mean, and not just a vocalist. That's truly an art. So huge shout out to Matt Rocks. Thank you for the submission, homie. Much, much, much motherfucking love. Make sure you follow Matt Rocks on SoundCloud. Matt is very close to 1.8K on SoundCloud. Get it, baby. And make sure you follow Matt's new Twitter at Rockstar. Matt's 5 away from 10. Go show Matt some love, man. Matt's way too talented to be fucking making new Twitters and shit like that. But every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We are approaching 90 subscribers. We upload 2 times a week, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, exclusive tracks, a whole lot of good stuff's going on the channel, man. So go show these artists and go show the channel some love. Let's fucking go, man. Like I'm glad Matt submitted that because that was something that I caught and I was like, wait a minute, this is some fucking rare shit. Honestly, you giving feedback, dog? Submissions are currently closed, but they open every Tuesday. So make sure you follow us on Twitter at All Music Mondays, my friend. So we've already reviewed Nita. So huge shout out to Soul Golden. But we reviewed that last week. So our last audio submission of the night, and we'll go to our visuals, is none other than Bloodcat. And much like Matt and so many other talented artists on the Music Mondays community, like literally every artist is so talented on our show. But Bloodcat definitely is another genre blender and an artist with a very, very high ceiling. But this week, Bloodcat submitted Funnel Cake. Funnel Cake. And the art is just, the art, man, it is just really something else. Like, this art is talk about three things. Talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of Funnel Cake. I love the title. So instrumentally, I love this choice from Bloodcat. Bloodcat picks some of the most difficult, rarest blends of instrumentals I think I've seen on the show. Just because they're not your conventional, like, just banger, right? Like, there are beats that bang and are super, super nice, and then there are beats that are, like, very difficult to hop on sometimes, or sometimes figure out flows, or some people just don't like those certain styles. I feel like Bloodcat doesn't really shy away from any type of instrumental, so I feel like this choice was really well done. And on top of that, the mix A1. It knocks very, very hard, but nothing's clashing too overbearing. Vocals sit very nice on this, so I feel like this instrumental is excellent for this track. Fucking excellent. Now, vocals. You have a really good standard Bloodcat mix. This is like one of the first kind of mixing styles we've heard from Bloodcat since day one, right? Like ever since they first submitted to the show. This is the type of mix that we've really just gotten used to, and I love that. You know what I mean? It's a standard Bloodcat sound. It sounds very crisp. The vocal mix is well done. But shining stars here, without a doubt, have to be flows and cadence. And just behind that, probably a second shining star, is the lyrics, the writing, and the delivery. Like, both of those are very, very just refined, mature, and overall well done. You know what I mean? Like, Bloodcat has really matured and just really almost refined their sound into, you know, something that's very enjoyable. Not that it ever wasn't before, but I feel like the progression for, like, where it was to where it is now, it's like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, progress is awesome to see, and I love that about this. Like, I fucking love that. Because I say it each week, and I don't know how they keep getting fucking better. Like, I don't know how. I don't know fucking how. But a Funnel Cake is definitely back to the roots of Bloodcat, is my point. Right back to the roots, right back to where we first started, but such a very refined, well polished style, 100%. Like I said, shining star for me, definitely flow and cadence, and these lyrics are well done. But then again, you know, a Bloodcat writes a lot of really, really dope bars. You could pick any Bloodcat track and you'd be like, wow, this writing is A1. So yeah, this is another one of those for me where Funnel Cake definitely brought out a lot of the writing skills for Bloodcat, you know, depending on what Bloodcat wants to make, though, because we've heard, you know, distorted, alternative, you know, we've heard a lot of Bloodcat styles, but this is just what Bloodcat was feeling on this track, so I think it's well done. Now let's talk about the theme here. Cover is absolutely without a doubt A1. I love Bloodcat's art style recently. Bloodcat's been sharing a lot of art pieces in the Music Mondays Discord. And really, like, every track for like the last month has had some wonderful kind of cat theme going on here. So I feel like Bloodcat's just been fucking killing it lately, especially in the art direction wise. So this cover in specific definitely hits the nail on the head for like the cool factor that this track brings, without a doubt. So a Funnel Cake itself, right, the overall theme is very much a fancier kind of Bloodcat track in terms of lyrics, in terms of coming up and really like appreciating yourself, and really just writing bars about shit that like you're feeling in the moment, in that mood, in that period of your life. Easily one of those kinds of tracks where, you know, I'm in the moment, I'm feeling like this, I want to write a song about this, and Funnel Cake definitely is just that. But this is also one of those tracks, though, where you definitely got to listen to it a couple times, you know, throw it in your playlist, let it come on a couple times, you know, and you'll sort of understand the vibe that Bloodcat's trying to give, especially with, like, you know, just really coming up and like really the definition of staying down till you come up, and really like these punchlines and lyrics that could easily go over your head if you don't give it a chance, right? And you're not fully invested. So that's what's really dope about this, is like on the outside it has like a very listenable sound for new listeners to bring them in, but at the same time, if you dissect it, you can find the punchlines, you can find the well done lyrics, you can fucking appreciate the delivery. But Funnel Cake's definitely another one of those Bloodcat tracks that really is the whole package in one, truly. So huge shout out to Bloodcat. Thank you for the submission, homie. Much motherfucking love. Make sure you follow Bloodcat on Spotify, and of course, make sure you follow Circus Saturn on Twitter. Circus Saturn is 8 followers away from 10. Okay, go show him some love. We'll drop him a follow too. Go get him to 10 followers, man. It's 7 away. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 80 subscribers. Well, I mean, we did hit 80, but we're back down at 79, so I'm just going to call it 90. So go help us get to 90 again. We upload 2 times a week, exclusive segments, full podcast episodes, exclusive tracks, a whole lot of good stuff's going down on the channel, man. And even new series as well. We got Ivica. I'm working on a producer series with the staff. We have a lot of good stuff coming on the channel, so go check out the channel if you haven't already, man. So, audio submissions are complete for the night. We are good. Huge shout out to every person and creative that submitted an audio track tonight. That was well... I just, like, you know, from the instrumentals to the genre blending, it's like, holy shit. But, last but not least, we have the homie, No Name Dread. Now, per usual, Dread, like I always say, is an artist that is, you know, has very few words and really lets their sound speak for themselves. And they submitted a visual titled No Name featuring Mac B. Now, Dread, you know, between having a sound that's like so, it's like so well put together, but at the same time it's very, very original. It's very like, especially Dread's like later tracks, but this is actually a 3-year-old visual that Dread submitted, and it's titled No Name featuring Mac B. I'm very interested in this. Let's see what we're about to get here with Dread. Damn. This is some early Dread.
I'm in my bed, no magician. I used to be sipping chipsticking, but now we think different on Apple. Spitting facts like the cap of a snapple. You babble about battles you know you can handle. Leave your family, huddle around chronos and gripping a candle. If I did the race, I'd be driving a Lambo. Puffing a fronto that tastes just like mangoes. My life a movie Fandango. Came a long way from the balls and the fago. I just be smoking the fuego. Worry about nothing but making them pesos. Making them pesos.
Dread might have some of the best visuals we've ever seen on the show. Like, not even a question. Like, just not even a fucking question. Like, there was that one that we reacted to a couple months ago that reminds me of this. It just has this grimy darkness to it. But I love the classic, like, kind of vibe of this visual. So let's break this down here. We're going to talk about 4 things. We're going to talk about the instrumental, talk about vocals, talk about the overall theme of No Name, and we're going to talk about the visual here. So, Yeah, this instrumental. First off, this mix is really, really well done. I like the 808s a lot. I like how vocals sit for both Mac and Dread. But Shining Star for me, as far as the instrumental goes, absolutely, unequivocally has to motherfucking be the melody, for sure. Like the melody is easily bringing that almost spooky kind of like alternative vibe for sure. Um, but yeah, the instrumental, excellent choice from Dread, especially for this kind of like almost like monotone, darker style, and like it's so sick. It went really well with this fucking visual. But the instrumental, excellent fucking choice. Now we do have to keep in mind 3 years ago. I mean 2019. So Dread has made a lot of progress, and like speaking of which, let's just talk about vocals here because the vocal mix was something that is so classic. It's so like insane to hear that compared to like what Dread sounds like now, and it just shows progress. Dread really, really fucking killed it with the progress. Like Dread really pushed the bar as far as like building off of that almost dark like undertone. And I think this track is a great example of where it all started. 100%. But I think the shining star for me here has got to be the writing. Even the flow too. I really feel like the flow and cadence and like how everything was delivered is a good runner up. And really shows like Dread's progress like now, to be honest with you, because it's like, oh, okay, like so he just kept building off of that and just like all right. So our writing is excellent, but flows and cadence really, really did it here for me. Now, Mac B definitely had some rememberable punchlines as well. But as far as like a feature goes, I feel like this was a great feature, and much like another track we spoke about tonight, where the feature came in. Oh yeah, it was Seth, where the feature came in and really added something and almost built off of what Dread left for the track. You know what I mean? So I feel like Mac definitely killed this for sure, and brought something almost a bit more aggressive. Because Dread had this like real dark undertone, and then Mac came in and like slightly more aggressive, and had like more of an attitude with it. So I like that a lot. You know what I mean? This is definitely like A1 as far as like a collab goes, right? And I think something here that we can note is the title when we talk about the theme, because the name No Name and then No Name Dread and then No Name Posse, like having this be like a like almost like a self-titled track, or like just like a kind of like how did No Name sound way back when it was first created. You know what I mean? Like a lot of that shit's like very cool. So the fact that this is called No Name, I think it's fucking dope for sure. Definitely brings like the lore side of things 100%. But let's talk about the visual, right? I mean, we have this classic, probably like 70s, maybe early 80s kind of like drug documentary. And I feel like it's so well used for a track like this, especially for Dread's like underground sound and like the darkness of No Name Posse and like the track title, No Name. I do feel like this is a great visual to like accompany an alternative darker sound like this, you know what I mean? And it keeps it fucking fresh, like nobody's doing shit like this right now. And it really falls in line with like the rest of the shit that Dread was doing for the last visual that we watched. Like one of these now for like a new Dread track would be crazy. Would be absolutely fucking crazy. But this visual is just such a good choice, and I would love to see Dread do more of this. 100%. I love this visual. And like it's just relatively simple too, right? Like you know what I mean? Like it's so easy to like grasp onto this concept. You're like, what the fuck? And like just something to keep your eyes glued while you're absorbing the track. And I think that's such a good thing to fucking do. So, huge shout out to No Name Dread. Make sure you sub to Dread Father on YouTube. 5 away from 10. And of course, make sure you follow No Name Dread on Twitter at No Name Dread 1. Dread is 10 away from 180 or 30 away from 200, which is a crazy milestone. So go show Dread some love, man. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We upload 2 times a week, exclusive content, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good stuff. It's going down on the channel. So go show the channel and go show these artists some love. So that does it for tonight's submissions chat. Well fucking done. And huge shout out to everybody that came through, submitted, show love. Huge shout out to Thomas, Dread, Cole, Seth, Heavy, Human Resources, Little Caesar, Heretic, Offspring, Troy, TDG, Mark, Matt, Bloodcat, Syracuse Saturn. Huge shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. And huge shout out to chat for hanging out with us all night tonight. Huge shout out to Late Night Crew. Definitely a longer show tonight for sure. Pushed past 3 hours, but we had a great talk in the beginning of the show, man. Like, we had a real great talk at the beginning of the show. So expect a lot of YouTube uploads this week. Expect a whole lot of good stuff coming at you fast on the channel, man. For real. So let's chat. Let's talk about what's coming up in Music Mondays. What's next? Where are we going? Well, pretty much everything I described at the beginning of the show. We're gonna crank through December and really bring you guys a whole lot of new content. Lots of important stuff dropping within the next week. So definitely follow us on all socials if you haven't already. Follow us at All Music Mondays, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. And if you're interested in submitting for next week's podcast, which is episode 99, which is fucking crazy, make sure you follow us on Twitter at All Music Mondays. Submissions open every Tuesday. Very much like I said at the start of submissions, same format, same everything. You have about a week to submit, and then submissions close, and we go live, and we react to everybody's submissions. So feel free to follow us on Twitter if you want more information on that. This podcast and every podcast is available on our YouTube or anchor.fm/allmusicmondays if you're interested in Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff, or the link in all of our bios. Pretty easy to find. Our links are everywhere. So yeah, that about does it for the kid, man. That about does it for the kid. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are ready for more guest episodes incoming. I hope you guys are really, really excited about the future, man, because I am very much excited about the future for sure. So submissions open tomorrow. Submissions open for everything tomorrow. But yeah, let's fucking get it, chat. Let's fucking get it. So with that said, it's been your boy Azam Slays. This is episode 98 of the Music Mondays podcast. Sorry, I was reading something, man. Go stream us on all platforms, anchor.fm. Go listen to the old podcast episodes. Huge shout out to everybody else that came through, showed love, everybody that submitted. I'll be tweeting out the top 3 artists of episode 98 in a little while. And let's go, man. Shout out to you guys. The podcast is forever, and I hope you guys like what we have to close out the year. So stay tuned. Follow us on all socials. Be safe. I love you guys. Take care. Your boy Zom Slays. And I'll see you next week for episode 99.